Hello friends, this is Dr. Arvind Jadhav and today we will deal with synonyms and antonyms. So this is very important topic to learn vocabulary. There are different ways and strategies to learn vocabulary in English. So we will start with this topic and we'll know at the end how to deal with these synonyms and antonyms. Let us begin. At the very outset, I have just selected two kind of pairs here. You will see, first of all, we will see right, and in the column against it, we have the words like inscribe, carve, scribble, mark, pen, compose, script and record. So you will easily able to know that these are nothing but synonyms. So for example, but we have to know that what is meant by inscribe or carve or scribble, mark, pen and other kind of these words. So are even though they are similar, we have a little difference in the meaning. So inscriptions is related with monuments or something like that. Carving with some instrument or some knife or something like that. Whereas scribble means writing carelessly. So to pen down something, to mark on the paper are similar words like write. But when you think of compose, composing is some serious kind of writing, maybe composing of poem or novel or short story, composing of drama or composing of even music. So some creative kind of thing is composing, and then we have scripting and recording the things. So here in the next column we have a right, and against the right we have the words like destroy, rate, stop and listen. So how we juxtaposes these words with to the right. So write and read, write and destroy, write and stop writing, then write and listen. So writing is compared with other skills like reading or listening. Writing, the act of writing, the action of writing, and now not writing, so to stop the writing. And again we have a destroy. So I remind the Edmund Spencer's poem where the narrator writes his name on the sands, his beloved's name actually, and then the next line in the poem is like, and the next wave came and washed it away. So this written name is destroyed. So that is a destruction or destroy. So you will see the synonyms of right and the antonyms of right here. We will see the in the greater details the implications of these synonyms and antonyms in our daily lives, and we'll see how these are important not only to develop our vocabulary and the language learning only, but how these are very important in relation to our total life. So first of all, I have here to discuss categorization. So what is categorization? So our brain from our birth categorize the things. Most of the things are automatically cognitively categorized, so on the basis of similarities or some commonalities or some common analogies, or like that. So we group many things together on the basis of similarities. So for example, in this whole world we have some entities or things, and then we divide these things in two major parts, like animate things and inanimate things. So, or living things or non-living things, you may say. So animate is a living and inanimate is non-living things. And within that we have, in the living things we have trees, animals, humans. And for example, trees are even further divided on the basis of its structure, on the basis of its leaves, roots, or height, and on the basis of flowers, fruits, fruit bearing trees, for example, or like that. And even about the animals, we have vertebrates, invertebrates, and we have amphibians, we have birds, and so on and so forth. So let us see in details. So for example, here we have the entities. Entities can cover the things, objects, and everything under it. So under the entities we have animate and inanimate. Inanimate, under the inanimate we have the things like stones. And when we divide animate things, we have plants, animals, and human. So the plants, for example, having less height can be shrubs, and having the greater height may be trees, and some other like herbs having medicinal values in it. For the animals, we have two major parts like tame and wild, on the basis of the different characteristics, how they behave with us, that is with humans. On that basis we have divided like tame animals and wild animals. In the humans, for example, on the basis of gender we have divided male and female, but even on the basis of age we have different kind of categories. For example, we have a newborn baby, then we have an infant, then child, then adolescent, then youth, and then we have adult, and then old age, men or women, and like that. So these categorizations goes on and on like that. So with these categorization, what I wanted to tell is, though we are categorizing these different things, species, animals, and everything, still we are not sure. There are some species or some categories that coincide, and we have not clear boundaries between these categories like that. So in the linguistics also, on the these regarding these word categories or lexical categories or word classes, we have again a problem, similar kind of problem. Though we are dividing the language, the sentence in word classes like noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. I'll just take a little to elaborate. Noun is something we uh, give the name to the object or things, and when we use the word as a substitute to the noun is called as a pronoun. When we qualify this noun is called an adjective. We give the more information about these nouns, and then we have a verb. So verb is nothing but action or some happenings we are talking about through these words. And then when we give the information, the more information how we do things are nothing but through the adverbs and prepositions. We uh, talk about the location or something like that, for example on the tree or in the corner or like that. So these are prepositions. And conjunctions you are well known of, like and, which combine the two words or two phrases or two clauses or two sentences. So the words like and or like that, we have, these are the conjunctions. And interjections related with your emotions, we convey your emotions with these words, these are interjections. Now we have some limited kind of word classes, words. So for example, interjections, they are limited, they are restricted, and conjunctions even, and there are limited set of prepositions in any given language, and we have a limited pronouns even. So when we think of synonyms and antonyms, mostly we talk about the nouns, adjectives, verbs. There are relatively large number of words in any given language. So uh, we must actually do well with restricted word classes, and then we have to think of open class words. So see, for example, even in when we think of the categories or making the things in divide into different things, color is one thing that many of the semanticists or uh, scientists divide these things on the basis of color. So though we are thinking that this color spectrum is universal, or in every community or everywhere we'll see the similar kind of perception of color, it is not the case. For example, Berlin and Kay in 1969 done a research on color terms, where they revealed that every culture, every community of people are having different kind of perception or cognition about the colors. For example, what are the basic colors in particular community is depend on that worldview or the perception of this community. So they have studied and come up with the conclusions that there are two basic colors. For example, this is black and white. So in every community of the world, they know the black and white. Black is darkness, that is absence of light, and white is presence of light. So these are the two basic colors, and in some communities they have only three color system. They realize only three colors, so it's fixed that they know black and white, and moreover they also know red. But when some other communities are there, they know they have some four way color system, and along with this black, white and red, they either know green or yellow color. And when they have the larger number of color system, then they know both green and yellow along with black, white and red. So it goes on like that, and further they have blue, brown, and lastly they have purple, pink, orange or gray. So even they have studied and revealed that we also learn the colors in this way. So first of all, we have a perception of, we have a clear understanding of black and white color, then comes the red, then goes to green or yellow, and then blue, brown, and then some other kind of colors. So we cannot even, so many people in the world cannot describe the distinction between these different shades of the colors. Again, I have one more point, is that uh, women are more good at color perceptions than the men, and it is scientifically proven. So not because they have acquired some extra knowledge, but they have biologically different kind of additional color spectrum uh, in them, so they perceive different things. So most of the times the details regarding texture or taste or even in the color, the women are better than the men, and cognitively it is also scientifically proven. So I have to now one more thing, that is Eleanor Roche is a scientist. She is a psychologist from University of Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley in US, and she has been doing a great work in categorization, and she and of course some colleagues. So previously we have Aristotelian categories, and there they most of the scientists believe that the categories, different kind of things, have a clear-cut boundaries between them, and they are discrete, so we can count them or we can take them away from each other like that. But what Roche has studied, she come up with a prototypical categories. So some categories are more prototypical and some are less prototypical, more central and less central. So the boundaries between these categories are fuzzy, as you have seen in the earlier slide, that is color. So there are not clear boundaries between these shades of different colors, but they are fuzzy, so they coincide. So what kind of categories are there now? So we have some basic level categories, then we have superordinate categories, and we have subordinate categories. So basic level categories, subordinate, that is below, and superordinate, that is above. So uh, these basic level categories are the categories we perceive or cognize with very less effort or cognitive load in our brain. So they are very salient or clear in our attention or our brain system. We see them, or they may be even abstract. So for example, when you think of chair, so chair is a basic level category, whereas furniture is superordinate, and armchair, detailed things, that is subordinate category. So these kind of things we have. It is not only about these outside things, but about the language. Even some words are from basic level categories, and we use them frequently. So we are talking about basic word lists and other things. Most of these things are belongs to basic level categories, so they are very easy to learn than the subordinate level categories and superordinate level categories. So now we have to turn to some basic concepts related to synonyms and antonymy. Synonymy and antonymy. So we have a hypernymy and hyponymy relations. So for example, as we have discussed, color is a hypernymy. Hyper is some above, so hyper, and then hyponymy. So color is a hypernymy, whereas the relation between different colors under the broader term color, the colors like red, yellow and gray, and they are having some relation among them or between them, is called as a hyponymy. So you must not confuse with these words. In most of the competitive exams and other exams, they use these kind of terms or terminology. So you must know these terms, what these means. So we have again synonymy, then homonymy and meronymy. So one by one we'll see. Synonymy is the words having similar kind of meaning. And what is homonymy? So we have a similar forms but different meaning. And what is a meronymy? Meronymy is nothing but part and whole relation. For example, I have given one example. In synonymy, we have the words like or word forms like write or note. Write down, note down are nothing but synonyms. Then we have bank as a word form. But first bank is nothing but financial or financial institution. Whereas the second form of bank, the similar kind of word form and even pronunciation and everything, but this bank means bank of the river, edge of the river, and that is nothing but homonyms. And lastly, we have a part and whole relation, that is meronymy, where we have a handle and door or cap and bottle, like that. So next term is polysemy. So what is polysemy? Actually, there is a little difference between homonymy and polysemy. So homonymy, we have different forms, similar forms but different meaning. In polysemy also we have one form but related senses or meaning. But these meanings, for example, uh, many related meanings to the same form. For example, preposition on has different related meanings. On the table, then on the wall, then depend on something like that. So these are related senses. So that is polysemy. And then we have antonymy. So in the antonymy we'll see in details. Yeah, I have given already this, how this is represented in the chart format. So color is a hypernymy, whereas the relation between these colors are hyponyms. Then in synonyms we have form go and leave. These are two different words or word forms, but meaning is the same. Go out of this room or leave this room is having the same kind of meaning. Then in a homonymy, we have already discussed. Bank is financial institute and bank is edge of the river. In polysemy, I have already said on the table, on the wall, on the ceiling, on the rise. Prices are on the rise. So like that, and depend on something. They are having similar kind of, but little difference is there in the senses. So if you want to know the details how these different forms are listed, made entries in the dictionaries, you can refer any of the dictionaries. Let us see antonym or antonymy. In antonymy we have three kind of antonyms. One is of binary kinds. So we have binary means the people from mathematical background or computer background will easily know that all this computer field is based on binary relations, or all these kind of descriptions are written, composed in the form of 0 or 1. So or even in mathematics we have plus and minus. So these are very opposite, and they are called as a binary terms. In language, we have these kind of opposites are called binary antonyms. For example, alive versus dead. So one who is alive is not dead, one who is dead is not alive. Or for example, legal or illegal, like that. So next we have graded antonyms. All kind of antonyms are not of having contradictory or binary kind of relation. For example, hot versus cold. So we can grade how hot, how cold, like that. So we have hot, boil, warm, lukewarm, cold, like that. So we can grade them. For example, good and bad. So we have how good someone is, very good, good, not so good, bad, very bad, like that. So we have a graded antonyms in English and even in different languages. Many of the adjectives where we will see this gradability. So you must learn the different kind of words along with these words. So you will convey your exact sense or thoughts to you can communicate to the hearer or listener or to other fellows. Then we have the third kind of antonyms, like relational antonyms. So for example, they can change with some point. For example, come and go. So what is coming? Coming to the speaker, for example. Someone is coming to the speaker, and what is going? It is going away from the speakers. So it is depend on the speaker. For example, it's depend on perspective point or locational point or a vantage point. For example, if you are outside the door and someone enters in a room, you will say that he or she went into the room. But at the same time, for example, if you are inside and someone opens the doors and enters in the room, you will say she came into the room. So it depends on the perspective or your location or your psychological or imaginary locations, how you see this scene, like that. So again, we have a relational terms like teacher and student. So there is some kind of relation between the roles of teacher and a role of student. So teacher is not always a teacher. These roles can be changed, and student also will not remain a student. When someone goes to classes or in college or some place like that, learning place, he or she can be a student. But when she went to home, and there she may be a daughter or he may be a son or some other roles. So these are relational terms, and in certain situations these roles are assigned, like that. So again, we have a servant versus master and kind of things. So see, I'll read for you. We need vocabulary to encode thought based on different analogies and communicate these thoughts through language. So we need to develop vocabulary for such diverse experiences. Experiences may be real or imaginary, personal or the experiences of others. They may be a close or distant, but you must know these kind of vocabulary or words, so you will easily convey these things. So it is important to know these kind of similar kind of words or some the words with opposite meanings. So learning or developing vocabulary through synonyms or antonyms is one of the easiest and intuitive strategies, as we think similarly in day-to-day life. It is not a new thing, but we automatically many of the things categorize on the basis of similarities or some differences. Similarities go with the synonyms, and differences with how something differs from something else is nothing but antonyms. So caution to be taken. Now you must aware of that the nuances or the shades of meaning while learning synonyms and antonyms. For example, we have the words like give or grant. So you have to see the little difference between these words or meanings of these words. These vary according to the context. Give me pen, please. Would you like to give me pen, please? And grant. So giving permission versus granting permission is giving is used informally versus granting is used in formal use. So again we have a beautiful versus handsome. So beautiful goes with girl or flower or some delicate kind of things, whereas handsome goes with a boy or man or something like that. So you must uh, be aware of these usages. Then we have learned many things about synonyms and antonyms and how we use, what are the relevance of it, what are the implications of it, and what is the use of it, and everything about the synonyms and antonyms. And if you wanted to be a good speaker, then you must be equipped with these variety of synonyms and antonyms. So let us do some work with these words. For example, remember. So I am giving you some remember that what I have taught now. So remember the some words with memory. So remember, then we have recall. Recall the different kind or types of antonyms. For example, binary antonyms. For example, the relational antonyms, and second kind of antonyms that you have to gradable or gradability of antonyms, gradable antonyms. Then we have to recollect some event or recollections of memory, memories, childhood memories, so recollections. And then evoke, so some kind of stimulus evoke some kind of emotions in you, like that. So I'm thinking of my student life, how I was studying in my college or my high school, and how nowadays students are able to get kind of information through the laptops, through the internet, to the mobile phones, cell phones, and like that. So think of dwelling in the past. So these are the things goes with memory. Now see some of the antonyms. And yes, before antonyms you have to see the different. I have already used in the words these kind of in sentences, I mean these words. So you also have to think of all these words in different context. So now see the antonyms. Young, yes, if it is about the age, then young, old. But new also can be goes with the antonym old. So these are the new things and these are old ones. So he is very young and she is very old, or vice versa. So recently we are seeing these kind of the with the advent of technology, we are seeing the recent developments in human lives. So recent, and these are old or ancient kind of things in the history, or not in the recent past or like that. So something is modern. So what is modern? And we can see these things, these styles are modern these are the modern equipments, these are the modern methodologies of teaching and learning. These are outdated one. Chalk or blackboard, someone may say these are not actually outdated, these are very relevant even, but someone can say that these are the modern equipments or modern technologies, and some others are outdated, uh, like that. So old fashioned and like that. Modern, this is a modern art, this is archaic, old again. So this is antique, for example, the archaic, the old. That is actually, even though this is old, but when you think old as a gold, then you call it as archaic. Archaic in infrastructure, archaic monuments, archaic like that. So and modern. So even we have these words are modern and included nowadays in the Bridge, that is Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries, but some of them are archaic. For example, thyself. Uh, so that is yourself. Thy, your, like that. Thee, that is you. Thee, that is thee, that is you. So that is what I have to say about the synonyms and antonyms and its relevance about it. Thank you for watching, and thank you once again for sparing time to learn. I'm also learning with you many different new things with you. Thank you once again.